Okay, in our last video we saw how to do unit conversions, but today in this video we're going to talk about how to calculate percentages. Depending on your experience with percentages, some of you may be very familiar with this, but it's pretty easy. A percentage is the amount of something per 100. So let's just make a note here, is amount per 100. It's pretty easy to calculate, so the percentage symbol is just shown like this, and we can calculate the percentage of something by first taking the part that we've measured, divide that by the whole, and then multiply this by 100, and that will give you your percentage value. So let's do some simple math on this. So I'm going to make a word problem, and we're going to have to calculate a percentage. So this word problem is Sharina made approximately, or I shouldn't even say approximately, she made $25,432 last year and paid $2,632 in taxes. What percentage of her income did she pay in taxes? All right, so let's break this down and we'll just do the math with it, right? So the first thing we need to do is we need to take the part. So in this case, the part she paid in taxes would be $2,632. And we'll divide that by the whole that she made over the whole year, which was $25,432. And then we'll multiply this by 100. And if we do this, we should get a percentage out. So the number I get out in my calculator is 10.349164%. However, this is really kind of unnecessary. If you look at our sig figs up here, this had 4 significant figures right here. The bottom one had 5. So what I would do is I would change this to be 4 sig figs, which would be 10.35. And in this case, we're changing this 4 to a 5 because the number immediately following it is a 9, so we need to round that up. So Sharina, based on this story problem, pays about 10.35% of her income as taxes. So as you can see, you can do these percentages pretty easily on your own. All right, the interesting thing with this is you can also kind of turn this into a bit of an algebra problem. Okay, this next problem I actually looked up, and I'm going to write it out, but the GDP, meaning the gross domestic product, that's the value of all goods and services of the USA, is $20.544 trillion. And this represents about 24% of the world's GDP. So then the question is, what is global GDP? Okay, so let's try to work this out, right? So we're going to start out with what we know. And in this case, we know the GDP of the United States is 20.544. But let's try to plug this into our percentage calculation. So for example, we said that percentages can be found by taking the part divided by the whole times 100. So let's plug in what we know, right? So we know that the percentage in this case is going to be 24%. We know that the part in this case is going to be 20.544 trillion. And what we're looking for is the whole GDP of the entire world. So if we wanted to, we could leave that as is, as whole, or I could change this into the variable, I don't know, I'll just call this big X. And we're going to multiply this by 100. This does get confusing. Sometimes I don't like using the variable X and the multiplier symbol X. So in this case, let's just draw it like this, and that implies that it's being multiplied, right? But we need to solve this algebraically. So let's do this together. And what we can do pretty easily is we can start dividing, right? So let's divide each side by 100. So if we do 24 over 100, that's going to be now, or that will now cancel out 100 on this side, right? Because we would have divided both sides by 100. And that will leave left over 20.544 over X. So now we need to solve for X in this case, which we can do by cross-multiplying and dividing. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply these two units together, and that will equal these two units when they're multiplied together. So let's do that really quickly. So 24x is going to be equal to 100 times 20.544. So we're almost there. To solve for x, though, what we can do is now say, all right, let's divide each side by 24. And when we go ahead and we solve for this, x is going to work out to be an answer with 2 sig figs, which in this case is going to be $86 trillion. So, like I said, these percentages can actually be used as a tool for doing some basic algebra. If you are rusty on your algebra at all, there's a few places you can go on campus. The MARC is our Math Advising Resource Center. They have math tutors that can help you brush up on some of your basic algebra. Or if you want to do review of basic chemistry problems involving algebra, you might want to check out the Writing and Tutoring Center. I'll post links to both of those on our Canvas website. All right, good luck studying.